Welcome to the Monday live stream on Tom's Trains and Things. I'm Tom Kovichak, and it's another Monday evening, and we got some stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. And before I get to that, let me put one of these things up here, one of these comments up here. Say, just ordered some IR sensors for DIY and digital railroads, Arduino multiple block signal systems. And he's worried about the snail mail. I know what you're talking about because I got something that I ordered, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. So let's get going with this. I'd like to thank everybody for stopping in. Indian Head Railway, Dave, Train, Sparky, PDRR Engineer, Indian Head Valley. Who else is here? Debbie's the moderator tonight. I got her doing the moderation. Good day, model railroaders. Train Room Gary. All right, so we got us going with a few people here already. And if you would, if you saw the introduction there, you would see that I was going to do something on details. Now, what everybody forgets to do in their model railroad, or maybe doesn't do enough of it, is put enough details in their cities and in over here in their cities and stuff like that. Hey James, how you doing? Solo Contracting. Joey, hey Vinny, how you doing? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is details, and you can't get enough details on there. And where do we find them details? Well, let me tell you where we find them. In our little detail bucket here. So, if you've been modeling for a while and had some kits, then you'll recognize some of this stuff in here. I got these all in plastic bags. But people, you never have enough people everywhere. And where's my other people in here? There's some people there. More people, and I got some people that are painted, some of them that I purchased at train shows. There's a bunch of them here that I got pretty cheap in little kits like that. And what else do we have? Tiki train stuff. Okay. Small things on your railroad. What's on this one here? A coal chute. What's this one here? Small details. This looks like a little cart. Here's a caboose servicing station. Here's another coal chute. Here's doors and windows. Okay, but what you want to do is, if you've got kits and stuff like that, save all these little things that you have in here on those kits, because you'll find a good place for them. And what I wanted to show you, and I think I buried it underneath here, but I had a bunch of stuff. Oh, even that right there. Even this old stuff right there. But here's some more people. Oh, this is the very first thing that I bought from Walters. Back when you had to fill out a form and mail it in with a postage stamp, and then wait, and then they would send you back a confirmation, and then sometimes they would say, oh, this is back ordered, so how do you want to deal with all that stuff? So this was a little fence here. This is one of the first things I ever bought. And I used some of the fence near my barn and stuff like that, but I still have a little bit of that left. But that was, how long ago was it that you had to use the paper stuff for Walters catalog? But I don't know, back in the 80s or 70s, late 70s or 80s. But anyway, all this stuff you should be collecting and using this stuff as detail on your model railroad. And how I deal with it, see all these little things in here. They're resin, and some of them are metal ones. I have some more of them in my bins. That here we go. Here's some of them. Okay, so you got like smokestacks. You got a propane tank here, some barrels, some more smokestacks. Here's what I wanted to show you right here. Now these things right here, these are really good, and I got a lot of them, and I got them from, and unfortunately they don't sell them anymore. Oh, this way. And let me pull up their website. Where did I have it? I had it over here. Okay. Bollinger and Edgerly. And let me see if I could pull this up here. I buried my mouse over here, so bear with me in a little bit. There we go. This is where I got a lot of the stuff. They had castings like these shelves and everything, and workbenches and everything, but they backed off on what they were doing. Now they still have their website up, but I'm not sure if they're even selling anything anymore. But that used to be a good place to get stuff, but I don't think they have anything anymore. I only seen a couple of things on there. So does anybody know about that? Hello, D and RGW. Who else we got here? Bill Costello. How you doing, Bill? But anyway, all this stuff here, if you got it, use it on your model railroad, because the more detail that you have, the better off it is, and especially roof detail, because that's what you see the most is the roofs. And what I normally do is when I have something like where are they here, I'll get a group of these right here. Let me pull one of them out, and I'll put it, I got a little slat. It's a 1/4 inch by 1 inch or 1.5 inch or something like that, and I'll put the painter's tape on it, and you can see on the back where the tape was on there. But anyway, I would put that on a stick, a lot of these on a stick, and then primer it. And usually this is the camouflage primer here, and I would do a bunch of them all at one time, and then start painting them all at one time. And these are the ones that oh yeah, here's another place. JL Innovations is another place where you can get a lot of detail parts. But what I would do is I would do them in bunches, put them all on the long stick, and then just spray them, primer them, and then once you get them primered, then you can put them on the bench and start doing a little detail work with your little fine paintbrush. Let me see if I can get this stuff back in this little shoebox thing in here. But you want to put as much detail on your model railroad as you can, because that's what makes a scene come to life. Now I just took a couple of pictures, and unfortunately they're on the other computer right now, of just close-ups of back there where I have some detail, and I have a bunch of people running around on there, and I think I did some videos on it some time ago, maybe as much as 2 years ago, on how to do that stuff, put detail in. And in fact, it was, let me get my finger straight here, that building right there, it's a Walters kit. And what I did was I separated it. I only made it like, first of all, I only made it like 2 inches thick, and then I added something to it so I could run my track underneath it behind it, and that goes with. Let me see. Let me get my hand straight here. This thing right here. And I actually bought another one of those. So I'm going to be doing it, and I'm just going to put it in the background and put as much stuff on it as I can. But that's what you want to do, is get a lot of detail. And I forgot to do my at the workbench things. Is that what we started with? So I'm going to skip that at the workbench thing and go to the next one, because we're going to do a shout out right now. Here we go with another shout out Monday evening, and I've been subscribed to this guy for a while now, and I don't know why I subscribed to him. I couldn't find the video that I did. What I'll normally do is go through a bunch of videos of modelers that I've never seen before, and I'll subscribe to them and just put them aside and then go back and binge watch some of their stuff. And that's what I did with this guy here. Let me pull his thing up. Oop, wrong one. Right here, it's David Barnkow. Now, I don't know, well, I think there was a few people that I saw that I don't know if they're subscribed to them, but they left messages on his videos, and he does amazing work with turnouts. He builds all his own turnouts and dual gauge. He does it at 0.48 and 0.30. So Train Room Gary, I don't know if you do 0.48 or you do any narrow gauge, but he does a lot of that in there. And he takes his time through it, and he does a lot of stuff that I haven't seen anything before, like paper mountains, doing your scenery. Now let me turn this thing off here and bring it up here. Using paper for his mountains. Now he's using the foam also for rock castings and stuff like that, but he created his form with the styrofoam, and then used sheets of paper after that, and just build it up and layer upon layer with white glue, and just continue to build it up to where he wanted it. And then let's go a little bit further, and even on his own rock work, he scribed all the bricks in there, or the rocks in there, and does it piece by piece, putting different colors in there. I mean, this guy is amazing at some of the stuff that he does. I mean, this takes a long time for to do all this stuff here, and the results. We'll come down to the end here. He's putting it on there, but the next video, he's got about 6 or 7 videos on this paper mountains in here. Let me get to 5 videos. Now he's doing outcroppings on this one here, but he's doing the pink foam, layering it and cutting it, and using a file to get his rock texture. But all his videos are like this. He'll go through everything and show you how to do it. He doesn't talk much in it. He'll speed it up and show you how he does it, and then put text up on the screen. But the results the end result of all his work is amazing. Okay, let me go back to another one here. All right. Now, what really caught my eye was way back a couple of years ago, he was doing Where's this at now? Inglenook switching puzzle in O scale. Now, he built this entire switching layout from an idea from someone else, and he goes through the steps of how he did everything on it, and it's dual gauge ON48. O48 is the main standard gauge, and ON30 is the narrow gauge on it. So he built it like that, and it's the specifications that, you know, he left stuff in. He left links in there, but he puts the links up on at the end, in the end credits. But right here, let me move that down a little bit. But I went to the links and I can't get to the links. They're non-existent, or they don't exist. They don't exist anymore. I guess it's a couple of years old, so they're no longer valid. But everything that he does is amazing, and you just have to look at some of the things that he does. And this is like a switching game. It's the Inglenook switching puzzle, and he did a series of videos on this, and he has a lot of stuff on there. Even scratch builds in styrene, scratch builds in wood, scratch builds everything. And this new project that he's working on, he's from Colorado and Dahlia Street, and this is just in the past month. He's doing a switching layout, or a switching module that he takes to train shows. So take a look at this guy, David Barnkow. You could learn a lot from him. I binged watched about half his videos this past weekend. I mean, I like Saturday and Sunday, I just kept on watching. Whenever I had the chance to, I just sit there in front of the computer and just watch what he does, and he's just really amazing at everything that he does. I wish I was half that talented. Can you give us the link to the YouTube channel? Okay, hold on a second here. Train Room Gary. Give us the link to the YouTube channel. Let me see if I could pull this up here, and let me see. Boom. I got my keypad for up here. Okay, Control C. Boom. And I'm going to have to pull up my I hate this new YouTube, because you can't go directly to your studio, your channel creator studio right there. Okay, because I got the chat up on here, but it's not on this computer here. It's on the laptop that I'm watching it, so I got to pull it up here. So right here, okay, there it is. Now let me go back over here. Okay, there's the link. Look in the chat, you'll find it in the chat also. Okay, N scale narrow gauge is code 40. I don't know what the O scale is. Gary, you have to help me out here. There's Gary. My son just came back. I do Lionel at home at 2-rail scale at the Detroit Model Railroad Club. But he does a lot of good stuff there. And I mean, even if you take it down to HO and HON3 or N, I mean, I don't know how anybody can do the N and even narrow gauge in N. I'd have to get out the magnifying glass. I'd have to have my goggles on all the time just to see that stuff. But anyway, he has a lot of good stuff on there. Take a look at him, subscribe to him, comment on him, comment on his videos. I think I commented on 1 or 2 of his videos. How you doing? All right, what do we got up next? We got, where's my notes? I gotta get my notes out. This helps out a lot. Did that. All right, we got this now. Okay, model railroading for beginners, and I want to bring up one of these things here. Tell them to right-click the link and open in a new window so it doesn't take them away from this stream. Correct! I should have told them that. Yeah. After you watch this video, after you watch this stream, then go over there to that link. That is absolutely correct. Now, model railroading for beginners. You know, I've talked a lot about using different size, different brands of track and turnouts and stuff like that. And I got somebody over the weekend that sent me a message on Facebook. He's wasn't a friend, so he just can I ask you a question about why I have 15 volts sometime and I don't have it any after that, a short time after that. So I accepted the comment, and we talked back and forth. Now, if you got a really old train set, don't expect it to work right away. You're going to have to do a lot of work on it because everything is dirty. Now, this guy asked me if I could figure out why he was getting 15 volts on his track, but a short time later he wasn't. Well, he didn't tell me how much it dropped. He didn't tell me what scale he was in. The biggest part is he didn't tell me until about 2 hours into talking back and forth. I wasn't talking every 5 minutes or so, but finally told me that it was like 30 years old. It was his dad's layout, and he wanted to fix it up for his son. But then what he did was, there was some bad tracks in it or something, but he had some spare tracks from his dad's and put it in there, and it was a different code. So it wasn't getting good contact between the rail joiners on the code. So after I'm telling him all these things to do and to check, because he was cleaning it with alcohol, but little by little he was giving me this information, but not really telling me all at once. So finally, after about 2 hours, I finally found out that it was N scale. It was 30 years old. He had 2 different size tracks on there, and a lot of other things. Oh yeah, he had a reversing circle in there also. It was like an oval, and it had some sidings on it, but he had a reversing section in there too, and it had rubber rail joiners in there. So can you imagine after 30 years what those rubber rail joiners were like? But he said when he put the locomotive down in the reversing section, that his voltage went away. So what do you do about that? Well, what I told him was, take it apart and clean up all your rail ends and all your rail joiners just by putting the alcohol in there. Isn't going to get all that crud out of there. You probably got mold and mildew and stuff in there if it's been sitting for 30 years. But a lot of model railroaders that want to get into the hobby, they pull out their old stuff and want it to work right away. It's not going to work right away. You're going to have to do a lot of work on it to get it to work, and that's all there is to it. You can't expect something that's been sitting for 30 years to work right away. You're going to spend some time to take everything apart, to clean everything out, and to make sure everything is the right size. Like he had different code tracks on there with, you know, the big rail joiner for, and hooking it up to a smaller code rail where it's not going to be making good contact. And just going over there with a Q-tip on the rail joiners isn't going to get all the crud out, 30 years of crud in between the track and the rail joiner. So that was the biggest problem. I told him to just take it apart and start from scratch and start cleaning everything up really good. All right, so what do we got next? Here's the big thing. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. You know why? Because it's over here. It's free. I haven't said that in a long time. But anyway, you can't just hit the subscribe button anymore because you got to ding that bell. And even after you ding that bell, you still got to go through those dialog boxes and check off when you want to be notified, how often do you want to be notified, and where you want to be notified. If you want it on your email, if you want it on your cell phone, like here. And at one time, I don't know if it's still true, but if you didn't have the YouTube app on your cell phone, you didn't get notified at all, even though you clicked that thing off. I don't know if they corrected that or not, but if you didn't have the app on your cell phone, even if you checked off ding that bell, there was a chance that you did not get notified. But anyway, go ahead, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Ding that bell and fill out all that stuff on there. And then you'll get notified whenever I have a new video coming out or I have a live stream. So, what's next? The good part. Train of thought. This is where I rant and bring up my own stuff. And I haven't even looked at the comments or anything yet, but I'm going to have to go through here in a little while and take a look at these comments. I got 5 pages of comments on this thing already. But anyway, the first thing, oh yeah, I showed you this the last time, this little LED here that you plug into a USB port. Now, the guy put leads on it so he could use it on the model railroad, but I said, you know, the guy from Hagerstown that worked, volunteered up at the Hagerstown Roundhouse Museum gave me that, but he didn't give me the link to the thing. He just said it was on eBay. Well, he watched my stream last week and he emailed me. And what's his name? Milt Tegeler. And he sent me the link to it. And it's on Newegg. That's it, Newegg. I had to think of it. You know, the mind's going. You know, we talked about that last week. The mind's going there. But I ordered some of them. Now, I'll get them sometime in August. There was a comment way at the beginning about snail mail and stuff like that. You're going to have to wait a long time for it, and that is correct. But I want to go back and take a look at these comments in a little while. But there was a couple other things that I wanted to talk about, and I forgot last week. We went to Hobby Lobby. Now, I see people on Facebook talking about 40% off coupons at Hobby Lobby all the time. You can only get one thing with the 40% coupon. But, let me pull this up here. Here's a plaster cloth. It's a narrow roll, normally $5.99. Got it for $1.47. $1.47 again. And these plastic sheets. Now, I bought a bunch of these a long time ago at Micro Mart, and they were normally $6.99. I got them for $1.74, so I picked up all the ones that they had. They got them in the brick pattern, and they got it in the diamond plate pattern. They had two of them, all $1.74. You can get a lot of good stuff at Hobby Lobby, so go and look at that stuff. And this wasn't even in the clearance aisle. They were doing some stuff. I guess they were remodeling the clearance aisle, so this was still in the stuff where all the woodland scenic stuff is. Now, they're cutting back on the woodland scenics. I mean, I just saw a couple of pieces of the Just Plug pieces in it. There was no lights. I think it was just a hub in there, and that was the only thing that they had. Now, it could be because they're getting ready for Christmas, because they're putting the Christmas stuff out, because July, the beginning of July, is when everybody starts doing their Christmas crafts. So it is filled up with Christmas stuff. And I should have uploaded the stuff from my phone, because I took a bunch of pictures on there, and I have it on here, but of all the Christmas stuff on there, and the train sets. Somebody told me about the train sets, I think about 6 months ago, that they were going to be getting rid of them. And so I went to the different Hobby Lobbies in this area. There's two in Naples and one in Fort Myers, and they had train sets. They were still high, like they were $199, and I think the cheapest N scale one was $169. But now all the HO train sets were $139, and the N scale ones were just about the same price. Now, I did see, I think there was some that were in there for $99. Yeah, you can get a lot of good stuff at Hobby Lobby, because they push off a lot in the clearance aisle. Last year, I got, I don't use Easy Track except for under my Christmas tree, but last year I got an expansion pack of Easy Track. It was a figure 8. Okay, it was normally something like $75 or something. I got it for $16. I'll probably use it maybe this Christmas, unless my daughter comes down with her dog again, then won't be able to put the tree up. Okay, but anyway, what that brick is good for is what I've been planning on doing for a long time, and that's this right here. This is going back where I have my lift out, and originally I was just going to put it like this, because I was going to, you know, it was way in the back, and I was just going to put a roof over top of it and just leave it like that, because you wouldn't see it anyway. But with that brick, and let me get that brick here again. With this brick, I can make the walls back here. But it is actually on an angle, because it's, I don't know what you call it, trapezoid. Because this wall back here will be bigger, and this wall is like this. So I have a pattern on it on my workbench in the other room that I did when I was making the piece of wood that is back there. In fact, you can see right there is where it goes, right before that road right there. But it's right at the hinge of the lift out. But that's what I'm going to be working on. And another thing I'm going to be working on, you see all that white back here? That's been like that since I went on vacation. So I have one more spot. I left one spot at the very top where I got it. That's just plaster cloth right here. And I have to fill that in with plaster Paris. Then I could paint it. And then I could start doing my texturing and all the good stuff on there. So I got to start doing that this week. And the module that I said I was going to do, I bought the framing for it, the 1x4s and the 2x2s, but I didn't buy the plywood yet. Okay, there's too many people at Home Depot all the time getting plywood cut and everything. It's just so crowded all the time. I just got to find a good place, good time when there's not that many people there, so I don't have to wait in line for an hour just to get a piece of plywood cut. But that's the only thing I'm waiting on, and a good track plan, because I'm undecided. I want to use it for instructional purposes on how to build a module, and then how to lay all the track, how to do the turnouts, how to put. I'm going to do it with all DCC++. I'm not going to use any commercially available DCC products like Digitrax or anything like that. I'm going to do all the turnouts with servos. So that's going to be a learning experience for everybody. So that's coming up. And what else was I going to talk about on here? Okay, not that. Okay, last week, Sparky mentioned the thing that I had in my very early Shoutout Monday evenings. I did Sparky, and when he first started out, he always had a utility knife. I'm telling on you now. So let me pull this up here. I'm seeing the bottom of the page. Okay, but anyway, he had a utility knife. He was always dropping it, always losing it. So I told him put a string around it. I couldn't find that video where I put a string on the end of the thing, and we talked about that last week. And he did a spoof on that video, but. The one video that I did find, and let me see if I can pull that up here. Here we go. Here's another Shout Out Monday evening, and this one is special person and real kind YouTuber. So that acronym should give you a hint. So here we go. I'm Tom Kvichak, and this is Tom's Trains and Things. This channel was created to help other modelers who are in need of guidance in pursuing their dream of building their model railroad. All right. Is this thing on? Okay. Well, good day, model railroaders. Today is January 16th, 2017. If you haven't figured it out already, this shout out Monday evening is for Sparky. So let me go find the utility knife so I can open up some boxes. Unfortunately, when I started that, I was having really bad migraine headaches, and I ended up in the hospital. So I was on some heavy drugs when I finished this. So watch this.
This one's for Sparky 107-107. I was going to do a big production on this, but since I just came out of the hospital and I'm on meds right now and I'm a little bit loopy, it's going to be a really short one. I was going to do a big production about this little utility knife right here that Sparky always lost, but I'm going to skip that for right now.
Right. I was really bad off at that time, but anyway, somewhere after that I did another video, but I actually did what I wanted to do, but I couldn't find it, and Sparky did a comeback video on that same thing. Yeah, that's going back way. That's let me see, where are we at here. That's going back two years or so, 2.5 years. That was a long time ago. That, I think that was when you had the you were doing the 500 subscriber giveaway, and when I first saw that, you know, you was like at 508, but by the time I did the video on that, you was up to 600 some already. So that's how things have progressed since then. But I'm going to keep looking for that video. I hope you find yours on your end. I remember that. I remember you had a string going all over your house, I think, with the utility knife attached to it. Okay, got that out of the way. Sparky, good man there. Okay, Train Room Gary. Tie your hobby knife to a I can't talk today. Tie your hobby knife to a Great Lakes boat anchor. Yeah, you'll really find it then. Okay, hey, Zach S. Just found your channel. I've been interested in getting into freelance and scale, but I'm quite young and being an expensive hobby. Do you have any suggestions on getting my foot in the door? First thing to do is stay on YouTube and watch a lot of videos. I got a lot of videos on there for model railroading for beginners. And if you ever have a chance, see if there's a club in your area where you could go and get some help there. And if there's any train shows in your area, go see them. And if there's any hobby shops in your area, there's bound to be people there talking all the time that'll tell you how to do anything that you want to learn. So end scale and getting started, you're doing the right thing. But all you have to do is just get started. I know it's an expensive hobby, and when you're young, it's really bad. All of us started out the same way. I mean, we all started out when we was really young. I mean, I started out when I was like 10 years old, and I was getting my allowance and going down to the hardware store. Back then, you can go to the hardware store and buy stuff. And trains were in GC Murphy, and I can't even remember what half of the other places were, but you can get train stuff anywhere. But unfortunately right now it's kind of hard to do, but you can find hobby shops if they have some in your area, to train shows, and if there's a club, that would be the best thing. And hopefully it's not one of the clubs that, you know, turn away young kids. Now, I want to say something about when and I want to put this in there also. I was at the D-Land train show last weekend, and the video is coming out tomorrow for that. But the Orlando N-Track, they encourage kids to run their trains when they have them at the train shows. I mean, they have these little kids, you know, about 10 years old, 9, 10, 11 years old, with the throttle, Digitrack throttle, and they show them how to watch for the signals up ahead and tell them how to run the train. And that's all you have on there all day long, is little kids running the trains on their modular railroad. And I mean, that is a really good thing. I mean, that's the only model railroad club that I've seen at a train show that actually does that lets the kids run the trains. Most of them say don't touch it, you know, but I know the stuff is expensive, but you know, that's how you get the kids in there, get them interested in the trains. So I hope that helped out, and there's probably somebody on here that's going to answer your questions also. Okay, now I think that's enough of I think I did everything on my thing for train of thought. Oh yeah, one more thing. While I was getting ready, about an hour, around 7 o'clock, this thing popped up on the laptop. I have the just the live stream on there just to make sure that the stream health is okay, and a thing from Comcast popped up and says you're 90% of your allotted time on here. And I said, what? So I had to go onto my regular computer and you know, just sometime in June, I redid my thing. We got rid of the TV and the phone and just did internet. Well, I got a really good internet speed, and it's like 40 megabytes upload. Let me see. When is it? Right before I do the stream every day, every time I do a speed test. So it's 39, almost 40 megabytes upload speed. But anyway, that's pretty good speed. And I like to do good quality. I put the megabytes or the kilobytes per second for the video up as high as I can. This one I put it back to 14,000. I did have it up to 16,000, but luckily they give you the first 2 months. They give you a grace period on the first 2 months. If you go over, they don't charge you. But if you go over the 1 terabyte, they charge you, I think, $10 for every gigabyte, every 50 gigabytes after that. So that's not good. So that's why I'm only doing the live stream every other month, because so far this is the 4th one. So right now I probably went over the 1 terabyte already, because we've been on for almost 45 minutes already. So I didn't know about that before I signed up for it. They never said anything that there was a 1 terabyte limit, and that's terrible. I'm gonna have to cut back on the kilobytes per second on the frame rate on the video. So I don't know. I don't know what to do, but I'm gonna, like I said before, I was only going to do 2. Well, not 2 a month, because some months it'll end up with 3. But every other week I'm going to do the live stream. If I have to go to the every week, I'm going to have to cut back on the quality of the thing, because I do 1080p 60 frames per second at 16 kilobytes per second, and so anything less than that, you don't really get a good picture on there. I think so. Well, anyway, that's my rant for today. Now, time for questions. Now it's time for questions and answers. And you know what I haven't done? I haven't been looking at any of the stuff up here. So you're just gonna have to excuse me for a while I go through some of them. I answered a couple of questions on there. Okay, here. Well, I'm going to work backwards. Hey, Tom, plan to build a layout again. Enjoy your show. Really like your show. Learn a lot. To keep up the good work, Robert. Okay, thank you, Robert. All right. Mary, my husband has gotten a lot of information from your show. I'm glad that I could help with anybody that is into model railroading. Never heard of having a limit. Neither have I. I've never heard of a limit on it, but I guess with this internet only and the high speed, they put a limit on it. Now I do have I know on my cell phone I got from Comcast also a little bit over 2 years ago. I finally paid it off in May. It took me almost 2 years to pay this thing off, but it's a Samsung Galaxy S8, and the thing that they offered, I forgot what I was going to talk about. The thing that they offered was, when I got it, since it was since I had to pay like $30-some a month on it for just the phone, I only got the 1 gigabyte of data. But since it's paid off, I paid it off. I only had one payment before we went on vacation, and I knew we were going to use a lot of it on vacation, so I paid off the last month before we left, and I went to the unlimited, which is only $45 a month. But If you go over I think 5 or 6 gigabytes on here, then they slow you down. So there is a limit on the unlimited. Even though I have the unlimited, once you reach that limit of 5, I think it's 5 gigabytes, then they slow down your speed on here. So that's that. I've heard of the data limitation on there, but that's the first time I heard it on the internet. So I'm going to have to look into it. I didn't have enough time to look at the data or anything. So that's one of the things that I'm going to have to look at. But let's get back. Okay. Hey Tom, first time on and I see I am late. I watch your videos and enjoy them. That's okay, Mike. You could always watch the replay too. Once this is finished, it'll replay. And what I did find out, on one of them, I cut off the beginning screen where it says, you know, it has the countdown till when it starts. When you do that, when you trim it, it takes off the chat on the side also. But I like to keep that chat on the side even though I have it right here. But you could always watch the replays. Okay, James Carroll. Tom, where can I order 00 gauge uncoupler made by Trix 1935? Trix? That's a European thing. Maybe if Gary's still on here, Train Room Gary, he could let you know that better than I can because he does O gauge, and he could probably talk about 00 gauge. I'm not too versed on anything European, but Gary might be able to chime in, or somebody else on here that is from a European country or the UK. They could chime in on that. And I'll look that up also. Okay, let me go back on some of these pages here. Let me go back to the very beginning. Okay, now here's what, let me see. Just ordered some IR sensors from DIY and Digital Railroads Arduino multiple block signal systems. Southern 207 Hobbies. By the way, what's your first name? And I'll be able to address you by your first name instead of saying Southern 207 Hobbies. About Snail Mail, yeah. The things that I ordered from those USB LEDs, the earliest they'll be here is in August. So I got a ways to go on here. So I'm just looking up some of the questions on here, everybody. Hi, manhole cover street. Okay. Manhole cover street, garbage, sewers, mailboxes. Just some of the things we overlook most times. Yeah, and you know, since we got rid of the TV channels, I've been watching a lot of my YouTube videos on the TV. So I just saw a video that I did some time ago where, you know, I used a leather punch in the, I used styrene on the roads, a thin piece of styrene, and I used a leather punch. You know how sometimes they have the manhole covers right in the middle of the road. I used the leather punch to simulate the manhole covers. Okay. I heard best thing is to take a picture of streets and then look for the details to add to your streets on a layout. That is an excellent idea. And a lot of the things, a lot of the early videos that I did, I went out and I showed, especially with trees, went out and took a lot of pictures of trees, and I can't make trees, worth a damn. But I did a video on it anyway, just showing how you could do it and how you could and how you could see how everything is outside. Just take pictures or take videos. Okay. I'm still looking through here. Okay, basswood strips is a great material for lumber and ties. Yeah, it's time consuming though. Okay, here we go. So, try craft sticks for lumber and cross ties, a pack of 54 at the dollar store. Yeah, that I'm not sure how close the matchsticks are to bridge ties, but they look pretty good. Bridge ties are square, and they look pretty close. Even if you had to sand them down just a little bit, you could use that, because I bought a lot of matchsticks. I bought a lot of stuff. I buy a lot of stuff from dollar store. In fact, the thing that I use for those instant buildings back there, I flatten them out with one of those kitchen utensils. You know, it's a little flat thing that you pick up all your cut things that you cut up. I don't know what they're called. But anyway, $1 at the Dollar Tree. Hey, one time I was at the Dollar Tree. I found something that wasn't $1. It was some vegetables. Go figure. Okay. All right. Mark, that's quite something. Turnouts handcrafted in narrow gauge. Yeah. He does a lot of stuff. And just to do turnouts in dual gauge by hand, it's really amazing. You got to watch that guy's videos. Okay. Okay, I've seen those switching videos. They gave me inspiration for my switching layout. Good stuff. I don't usually, I took about 20 switches or turnouts out of this layout here, because I don't like switching. I just like to see the trains run around all the time. But on my module, that's what I'm going to do. My 4x8 piece of plywood, I'm going to cut it down this way, so I have a 2x4 on that side, and cut it this way, so I have two 2x6. So I'll have two 2x6 modules and one 2x4. And I don't know what I'll do with the 2x4, but Debbie gave me the okay for in the living room, and she's watching. She's monitoring here, so she knows about it. And she's all for it, She in fact, she even asked me when I'm going to go get the plywood. I got to go get it this week sometime. So, but anyway, that's what I'm going to be using it for. Okay, now let me see one more thing. The narrow gauge, YouTube, open scale. Now you tell me to spell. Put in just. Okay, there it is. Okay. Well, I'm going back, so Train Room Gary just put his name, and Sparky helped out a little bit there. Yeah, hit that like button. Don't hit that dislike button. Yeah, me and Sparky was talking about that. He had some, even before he had a, what was it, a preview? Even before he started the preview, he had dislikes on it. And last week I had 5 dislikes within the first 2 hours on a video, so go figure. Okay, CRC 226. I use that a lot, but it seems like a little bit greasy. I don't know if you're talking about cleaning the tracks with that, but I use CO contact cleaner. I use that a lot at work. I mean, it's made by the same company, CRC, but it doesn't leave a residue on there. And it's actually made for electrical products. Okay. I smashed that like button with a big boy. Oh man, I bet you that hurt. Okay, let me see. Here we go. Let me go to the next page. Okay. I'm just trying to catch up here. Okay. Now that's the way to do it. I use my wife's teacher discount at Hobby Lobby. There you go. Good deal. Some Dollar Generals carry the casting cloth rolls. I bought two a pack, approximately 2 foot per roll. That's a good deal. Any place that you can get a good deal is a good deal. Okay, I thought Tom was going to say he bought all the train sets. I was going to give them all away in a contest for his channel, maybe next week. Well, you know what? Where is it at? I could use a little help if I could give away some train sets if you do some super chat here. See, super chat or Patreon or PayPal. Now, Dave did some super chat last week, and I still have to work on. Where is this thing here? This is a very lame. Where is it here? Strobe, but I'm working on a strobe. I have some better I have some better LEDs for this, but I got to make that lighter. You know, the only bad thing about if you dim down some LEDs, you could see over here that you have lines going up. Oh, I don't know if you could see it on there, but I could see it on mine until you brighten them up a little bit. Okay, now they're starting to disappear. But I noticed that on when I did in Orlando last week, that when they dim the lights, they have fluorescent lights up there. I don't know if they got the LED ones that look like fluorescent, but they're dimmable. And when they were dimming, you could see all the, you know, the lines going up through the video. But that's the only part about LED lights. Just my 2 cents worth there. Okay, let me see. I like free stuff. Everybody likes free stuff, man. That sounds like mine. I lost mine years ago. Yes, I have too. Okay, some Dollar Generals. I did that one. Okay. Okay, Sparky, you must be dreaming. Well, maybe next time, yeah. When I had the 10,000 subscriber giveaway, I gave 2 $100 gift certificates. One's a Bar Mills model, and I'd like to say that Arch Fahey donated the gift certificate there, and the other gift certificate I gave to was for Star Hobby, and that is the Model Railroad hobby shop in Annapolis that I've been going to for when I lived up in Annapolis. I lived up there for about 20 years. I always went to him, and he's got a really big place now, and he does a lot of internet orders. This is going back in time. Yeah, that was 2.5 years ago. Okay. Okay, here we go. James Carroll. Mine made of wood, metal, sculpted mold, ceiling tile, aquarium, gravel, kitty litter, and years of deep, dark research in the prototype Florida City Railroad. You know, when I was a kid, and we had American Flyer, and after Christmas, I'd take it down in the basement, and we had 2 sawhorses, and I think we had some. You had to have some kind of frame because it was only Homosote. I didn't have a plywood base or anything. It was just Homosote, and we put that American Flyer down there, S scale, and we had 2 turnouts, so we had a little short thing in there also. But you know, I made mountains on there, and I used real plaster. And for the green, I used the green paint that we used on the porch outside, on the front porch. And for the roads, I got my mom to save all the coffee grounds. And once they were all done, you know, I crushed them up a little bit. And I didn't care about the color. I just, you know, made a road out of it. And, you know, you used to be able to get that, I think you still can, you get that grass mat on the paper. You could still, I think Woodland Scenic still sells it, but that's what I used to do. I used to use a lot of stuff. I even had real water in, when I went to HO, I had 2 circles, 2 ovals going up over top of each other, and I had a waterfall with real water in it, and, you know, it didn't last too long. I was just a kid, you know, what do kids know? Okay, maybe I missed it. Need to go, guys. Great show, Tom. Thanks, Vinny. All right, let me go. Let me see what page I'm on here. Okay. I got only 2 more pages to go. Train set first, grow from there. That's right. Okay. Okay, I started off with a used $22 yard wash train set from eBay. That included shipping and everything worked. You were lucky to get everything to work. I don't know how many people to email me and want to know how to troubleshoot their locomotive because they bought it on eBay and it didn't work. Okay, plan to build a layout again. Enjoy your show. I think I already did that one. Okay. Thank you all. There is a model railroad club locally I've been considering visiting. I appreciate your help. Yeah, if you got a model railroad club, go there. They always have an open house. Some of them, like once a week, they'll have an open house where you can go. Just you know, give them a call and tell them you want to come up and you know, you're interested in model railroading. By the way, where are you from? Okay. All right. I have watched some of the videos several times and plan to watch more. Yeah, that. Like I said, I binged watched that guy's thing over the weekend. Okay. Train Room Gary says, I'm still here. Okay. Did you have an answer? Oh, well, let me go. Train. Oh, okay. O is HO scale. Okay. All right. I'm thinking of O. All right, that's right. But I don't know. That is European stuff, isn't it? Okay, mine is coming around the 29th of the 1st. Did you ever tell me what your name is? I'm going through the thing here. Any special way to cut real small cardstock working end scale? What do I do with my utility knife? Did I lose my utility knife? You know what I did? I probably put it in that little tote when I was putting everything. But use a utility knife and a ruler. Stainless steel one, preferably with cork on the back of it. You can get them anywhere. Hobby Lobby has them. A lot of other stores have them too. Joann's, AC Moore, Michael's. And I bet you that's what I did. I put in that little shoebox thing, I put my utility knife in there. But you can cut it with a utility knife. Make sure you have a sharp blade on it. Get you some good blades. AC Moore has them on sale all the time. And Hobby Lobby, every once in a while, you'll see them on sale. Joann's, Michael's. Good place to get the stuff. Tease him a little bit, telling him you changed your mind. Well, you know what? When she told me that I could tear down this wall back here, because we have a wall in our stairwell comes up and it makes a 180-degree turn. There's a landing down here. And originally I had my leak and creek all the way up to where that wall was. And it just didn't seem right. So I said, I'm going to tear down this wall and put the model railroad all the way up to the far wall and just open that all up. And she said, go ahead, do it. And after I started tearing it down, she says, I was just kidding. I didn't think you would really do it. But anyway, in the living room, she said in the living room and even in the dining room if I wanted to. Hello, what's the subject? Anything that we could talk about right now. We're in a free-for-all now. We're in a question and answer, but nobody's asking questions, but so I'm just going through all of them looking for questions. I've been talking about other stuff, detail parts. I had a shout out on, what's his name? David Barnkow. And old train sets and a lot of other stuff we were talking about. So it's a lot of different subjects, but right now we're just in a free-for-all. I'm looking for comments that I missed. Okay. We got somebody from South Australia. How you doing, Robert Davies? Glad you could make it, and thank you. Okay, okay. Where are we at? Nice production. Okay, there, that's that one there. There he goes. Art answered the question right there. LEDs dim by modulating the output. If they do it at 60 hertz, you see it in the video. Yeah, in your model in the club layout, I mean that I saw that in when they did the night scene, when they dimmed it down a little bit. I got all them lines going in there. If you take a look at it real close, you can see it, or if you turn it up to 1080p. I do all my videos in 1080p, so if you turn it up that high, you'll be able to see it. Okay, Mike Richardson. Dollar Tree has a lot of items such as package of moss. I got a lot of that stuff. Man, they got so much stuff, and even that green foam. I use that as bases, like for like underneath the trestle where they drop the coal and stuff like that. I use that as the base, and then paint it black, and then put the coal on top of it, so you don't have to put a whole pile of artificial coal on it. Green flower. Oh, I didn't read that far. Green flower foam, that's what I was just talking about, which can be ground using a wood rasp, used grass or a tree flocking. Also, they have bags of small black gravel or coal, much more. Yeah, I get a lot of stuff from the Dollar Tree. I get a lot of stuff from Dollar General and AC, all the craft stores. And I always look on the clearance aisle first, because that is where you find a lot of stuff. You lost your knife, tie a string to it, Tom. I wish there was a hole in the back of it like the utility knife, but I bet you if I look in here later, I'll find it. But I'm not going to look now, but I think it's in there, because I was just using it to cut a piece of plastic or styrene Don't call it plastic, call it styrene. Okay. Train Room Gary, you're still here again. Okay. A bag of confetti for N-scale use. Okay. Great advice as always. Thank you. It's on your Great Lakes boat anchor. There you go. Down at the bottom of the Great Lakes. Confetti, that's a great idea. Stack it up for the stairs. All right. All right, Mary Irwin. I was just wondering if it's easy DCC G scale trains. Yes, they have DCC for G scale. They got decoders. They got everything for G scale, just like they do every other, like HO or N scale. So you can look around. Just Google DCC G scale and you'll find a lot of stuff on there. That's how I find all my information. I Google it. What is the steepest grade a person can have on an HO scale layout? It depends on what you're going to run on it. Now, I usually go 1.5 on my grade over here on the side, going up to my mountain. And it takes a while to get there because I start down here and I get 4.5 inches in 17 feet. So whatever that is, I'm not quite sure, but when it levels off before there, but I measured it at 1.5. Now, if you're doing some, just a couple of pieces of rolling stock with a Shea or a Climax or something like that, you can go steeper. But I would say 2% is probably the steepest you can go. I wouldn't go any more than that because I tried it, and then I could only pull about 3 cars up the hill, and some of them didn't even make it. You know, I remember that RS3 that I got, the Bachmann RS3. I think it wasn't glued in there, but the shaft on the Delrin gears kept slipping. It wasn't a tight fit, so it couldn't make the grade. All right. Yeah, with or without helpers. That if you're going to do a couple of locomotives, you can go steeper also. Okay, here we go. We got an answer here. Soundtrack TSU 4400 for sound on, or TCS for silent. Okay. Thank you, Nathan. "15-car train will fight up a 3% grade." I don't know. I mean, is 3% different here in the United States? Is that metric percent? I don't. I got. Well, it depends on how much you spend on a locomotive. I guess if you spent $400 or $500 on a locomotive, you're going to get a good heavy locomotive with good gears on it. Most of my stuff is Bachmann. I got a couple of what's that other one? Broadway Limited. The Broadway Limited might do it, but the Bachmann ones won't. Not 15 up a 3% grade. I can't. I think the most that I can get up of that 1.5% grade there is like 11 or 12 cars, but that's about it with a Bachmann. Okay. Boy, you're pushing it, Sparky. Oh, okay. That's what I just said. The loco weight and size. Yeah. Okay, Mary is thanking everybody. Thank you, even for the other people. My husband is in the N scale, high, and G scale. Okay. Maybe that's HO. Okay. Okay. Who here is still in N scale? I can't answer that one. I'm in HO. And I'll probably give you some bad advice. And Vinny already left. So who else here is in N scale? Okay. Okay, Sparky says got 2% max, as many cars as you want. Okay, put 50 cars on there. Let me see. I bet you can't get 50 cars on there. Is that as much as you want? Okay, any Atlas Loco, and there goes my doorbell. That's the bad part about having my phone right there. Okay, hold on a second. Debbie got that one, but that's my neighbor at the door. We got one of those Ring doorbells, so whenever somebody calls, it gives you a notification on here. And even when somebody walks down the sidewalk, it gives us a notification, or the garbage truck goes down. You know, I did some videos with this, and sometimes you could hear that chiming on the side. I try to cut it out as quickly as possible, or cut it out altogether, but sometimes I can't. But anyway, that's what that does. Okay, can I swear at you now and tell you where to go? Oh, never mind. Oh, we'll do it later. Okay. We got Nathan Delay in there. How you doing, Nathan? ZN2 track is going to be very hard to find. Yeah, I guess. Did they even make it? Jeez. Okay, here's one here. I do percent grade. I'm trying to talk faster than I could read. I do 2% grade, 6 inches in about 35 feet, and pull 30 O-gauge train cars, 2 engines, no helpers. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Well, you got a lot of weight there too in the O-gauge, so that helps out too. Oops. I have a life like sat through, so I have 52 local motors, and I don't matter if that the highest you want to go is 2%. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't go any higher than 2%. Okay, so got some answers here. Atlas, and I saw Kato in there too. Kato, that's a good one. Let me see. Kato in Intermountain. All right, here we go. Aloha Milton just made a modern LPG storage tank for a chemical facility, 3D printed, designed in Fusion 360. We'll post on Thingiverse if anyone is interested. How do you do that stuff in 3D? That's a little bit too complicated for me. I was always good at drafting, but not on the computer. You know, when I did drafting, it was, you know, all by hand. But, you know, I look at this stuff, you know, things that were made with 3D, and I probably couldn't even make a simple box. So, Nathan DeLay has been making some buildings for modelers, and he does it very easily. 3D printers are starting to come down in price. Okay, Dave's trains. Good night, Dave. If I hit you already. Okay. If you ever are in Denver, Colorado, I love for you to see my husband's train layout. My daughter lives in Denver. She used to live in Aurora and just bought a house in some subdivision in Denver. She's been there for about 6 years. And I've been there twice. There's a lot of good stuff up there. This one guy that I just talked about, David Barnkow. He lives in Denver or near Denver. He's doing a series on Dahlia Street switching layout. So if you know where Dahlia Street is, I'll have to look that up. But I'd like to come up and see it. I got to wait for my daughter to have another baby. She's about due for another one. So that's about the time when I go up. The last time I was up there was 3 years ago when she had Nathan. Okay. Spherical kind of medium-large storage tank for cryogenic liquefied gases, 70 millimeter and 100 millimeter, will be posted. It's in parts of Printwell. Okay. Let me see. Here's your name. All right. Let me look up your. Do you have anything on your channel? Let me look. Okay, he's got his channel here. Let me, well, just hit the 3 dots on the side. I don't have to put his, just hit the 3 dots on the side and, you know, of his, Aloha Milton, and you'll say go to channel, but don't go there until this is over with. We only got a little bit more, and, you know, I always say I want to cut this short, but it's been an hour and 25 minutes already. So I got to wrap this thing up. All right. We're going to wrap this thing up. It's getting pretty late, and I don't know, I'm probably over the terabyte now already, you know, so who cares? I got 2 months that I could go over the 1 terabyte before they start charging me for it. But anyway, what all would I need to control a DCC system from a cell phone? I got 2 videos out there, and it's just too hard for me to try to find what they are. But go in to my playlist. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Okay, that's okay. Let me get rid of that. Go over to my playlist, and I hate this new thing. On my other computer, I got the old one. Let me see. And gotta go here. How do you get to that? Okay, now on mine you got another arrow over here to keep going to look at the rest of the playlist, but I don't have another arrow on there, so how do you get over there? So can I go back to classic on this? But anyway, take a look. Dark theme on, sign out, switch account, creator studio. Yeah, well, you can't go back to the classic on this. Oops, I don't want to do that. Okay, but anyway, I got a playlist in there. It's all about DCC. Oh, Here it is. Okay, let me do this again. Right there in front of me. Okay. DCC Basics and Beyond. Okay, so this gives you, let me see, 1, 2, let me turn, is there volume on this thing here? Get my cursor over here. Turn the speaker off. But anyway, I got all these in the playlist. 1, 2, 3, switch to DCC, that's DCC++. DCC++, how to connect your cell phone to DCC++. And then I have an older one in here someplace. This is DCC++, DCC++. This is all DCC++. Okay, never mind. This is the wrong one. But I have one in there for, okay. I have one in there for DCC. Just go into my playlists and I'll have, I think I have a couple of them in there on DCC, just plain DCC. But it starts you off at the very beginning of it, and there's 2 videos in there to tell you how to hook up your cell phone to your DCC++. So let me take a look at a couple of more, and then we'll get out of here for the night, because it's getting late. Okay. I may as, as long as Comcast is giving me a grace period the first 2 months. Okay, let me see. Where was I? I'm in the scale. Okay, right here. I am in scale. I use 2 Kato F7s to pull 10 cars around a 4%. It's a little too high. I wish it were lower. Okay. Well, that's good information right there. Okay. Okay, here's the reason. I went to Industrial Design College trained to do it. Okay, maybe you could do some videos on your channel to help other people that know how to do it, unless you're doing this for profit trying to sell it. But a lot of us just like to share, what we know. If I knew how to do it, I'd be telling how to do that on here. Video games as well, tons of modeling experience, just goofing around with games. I goofed around with games when they had the Nintendo 700 XL, I think it was, the little game thing where you put the cartridge in there and hooked it up to your TV. That was back in the 80s. They had basic program. They had the basic program in there. So we got that for my daughter one year, and I played around with it in the basement for a month before Christmas. I thought I broke it and I was going to have to get another one. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty fun if you haven't tried it. Yeah, I imagine it would be, but I'm pretty good at not on a computer though. As far as drawing with a roller and a square and a triangle, I'm pretty good, but not on a computer. Okay, got into model railroading from playing the game Transport Fever, which is all about trains. I never heard of that one. I heard some of the other ones. In fact, I did a shout out on Approach Medium. Is it Approach Medium that does a lot of the simulated ones? And I mean, that thing looks real. I can't remember the name of it now. Oops. Okay, that would be awesome. Thank you for replying. My husband would be ecstatic seeing you. Okay. I like to go see other people's layouts. It's enjoyable to see, what other people can do. Good night to everyone. The Closet Branch. Okay, good night. I hope I didn't miss you. Okay, I'm getting ready to... Did I say I was going to wrap things up? I'm trying to trying to go through these things here. Okay, well, Tom, another informative and interesting evening. Have an awesome week. You too, Dave. All right, awesome. Thank you for the information and have a pleasant night. MRC Prodigy has it is connectors for your cell phones. Okay. All right, so you can connect. Yeah, I remember seeing something like that about 6 or 8 months ago. Yeah. Okay. Have a wonderful evening till we meet again. Okay. Regards to all from Robert and his possum Marmy. Okay. How about a standalone JMRI Wi-Fi system without internet connection outside of the building for JMRI Wi-Fi throttle? How about a standalone JMRI Wi-Fi system without internet connection? Okay. You don't need an internet connection. You just need Wi-Fi, and you can do that with a cheap used $2 router. I did, you know, the two videos that I said that I did the DCC hooking up your. I think the first one I did was 2 years ago, and I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago on the tablet. And then another one I showed you how to do it on your cell phone. But I think the second one I showed you how to do it with JMRI and the Raspberry Pi. But if you go back 2 years, it's in one of those DCC playlists, and it shows you how to do it. I have an old router that I got at a thrift store. I paid $2 for it, and I just used that. You just hook that directly up to your computer, and you use that Wi-Fi right there. So you don't have to have anything on the outside. So that transmits your Wi-Fi signal, and there you got it with your cell phone or your tablet. So I hope that helps. Go back. It's about 2 years old. It's in the DCC playlist. There goes my mind again. Okay, where are we at here? Started with the Commodore 64, not like they are now. Computers are great. Trying to learn Blender now for using on the cardstock. I tried Blender long time ago. That's been around for a long time. And I got so far into it, and then it was just too complicated. If I could catch on real quick, it'll keep my interest. But if I can't catch on right away, I mean, it was great for 3D stuff and everything else. And it was, you know, I remember you had the light in there where you can move the light around to create shadows and everything else on there. I think I have it on my old XP computer. That's how long ago, that's how long it's been out. That's when I tried. I might have to try that sometime again. I live between two Hobby Lobbies about 20 minutes away. Wish me luck. You'll find something. I mean, we got 3 Hobby Lobbies. They got 2 here in Naples and then 1 up in Fort Myers. And usually they have something. If it's not in the clearance aisle, they might even have it right there where the Woodland Scenic is. Woodland Scenic's display is getting shorter and shorter. I mean, they used to have about half an aisle, but now it's down to about a fourth of it. And so, yeah, good luck. I mean, they're not stocking as much. And one thing it might have something to do with this because they put the Christmas stuff out in July. So that might be it. But if you wait until like October or November, then they'll start stocking the stuff for Christmas gifts. And you might have some better things in there because they'll get rid of the old train sets and all the old stuff before they put the new stuff up. So take a look at it in like October or something like that. You'll find some good stuff. Okay, where are we at here? Okay. Sparky. Evening, everyone. How you doing, Anthony? It's okay you're late. You can always watch the replay. All right, Aloha Milton made 3D printer a few years ago, but hadn't run it in about a year. Just started again and bought a resin printer as well. Back into it for the resin printer. Oh my goodness, I haven't heard of that. You're gonna have to talk about that on your channel or something. Take a look when we're done here. Hit the 3 dots and go to see his channel and subscribe to him and see if he has anything that he's going to do on there with the resin and with the plastic. Okay. All right. Tom, stream held steady at 39. Mostly nice to hang out and chat with you and everyone in the chat. I'm glad everybody stopped by. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Blender is a rough interface, utterly crammed with features, most of which don't apply to any particular project unless one is elite. Yeah, that's what I thought about it. Probably why I had a hard time with it. He's scared of Blender. Okay, me too. All right, good night all. Enjoy. It will be back. Yeah, Blender started 3D design for animation, so it's less concerned with the real world manufacturing of what you are modeling. Think outside the box for scenic stuff. Okay, outside the box. All right. Plenty of stuff outside that my husband uses to make trees, bushes, and all kinds of. You're in Colorado, so you got a lot of good stuff up there. When I went to see my daughter, I wish I would have saved some of the trees and stuff that are up that way. Okay, I'm going to breeze through this really fast because we're working on an hour and 40 minutes. I'm just going to go through this. Okay, another informative, interesting evening. Have an awesome weekend. Okay, I already did that page there. Okay, here's the last page. All right. Tumbleweed makes the best trees. It probably does. You know, when I lived in Texas, we had tumbleweed everywhere. Not in the Southwest, but when went further up. I lived in Del Rio for 3 years when I was in the Air Force, and there wasn't too much there. But when we went further up on the highway, the one that goes along the Rio Grande, after you get past the Pecos River, there was a lot of tumbleweed up that way. But anyway, it's been nice. I'll keep this open for a few more minutes, but I'm going to go. Thank all of you for coming by. Remember, 2 weeks, August the 2nd or something like that. And we'll be talking about this. But we're going to leave the plugs on. I did a video on this about almost 2 years ago where I took everything off. And I'm going to show you how to do it with the plugs on. So that's sagebrush. Yeah, that's another thing up in Colorado. Sagebrush. That works real good for trees. But anyway, I'm going to keep this open. You could chat, say goodbye, but I'm going to, I already wrapped it up. Where's my ending? So until next time, we'll see you. And thank you.